Alright, so this is going to be a around 100 plus strategy guide for Black Ops 1 Nacht and Toten. Now I classified this map as a hard map to get to round 100 on, and then for the most part I do think it is a hard map. But in other ways it's also an easy map, so I'll elaborate on that a bit, on exactly what I mean by it. Black Ops 1 Nacht is one of those maps where it's difficult to get to round 100, but not because the strategy itself is hard. It's actually one of the most consistent strategies in the game. Where this map stands out in terms of difficulty is due to the fact that you're not allowed to make a single mistake during the entire duration of the game. And it doesn't help that round 100 can often take at least 25 to 35 hours to reach, depending on how safe you play and your trade averages. So since this strat is designed to be the easiest and most consistent way of getting to round 100, I'm not going to talk at all about the Tommy strategy for delaying the box error, and I'm also not going to show you how to prevent the carpenters from spawning in, because for just round 100, that's an unnecessary risk, and you're not going to get the box error before round 100, no matter how bad your trade average is. So to break down the strategy itself, I'll briefly go over the initial setup, then we'll dive right into the early round strategy. There's 3 different variations that I'll be showing you in the strategy, and specifically the mid-round strategy between round 20 and 40 is not something you will see a high round runner use normally. It's just designed to allow you to train the zombies safely while the spawn rates are still too slow for the high round strategy. So for the setup, you're going to go with the ray gun, thunder gun, and monkeys, and for your third weapon, you want to go with the speed weapon that you can use for maneuvering around the map quickly, which is mainly going to be used for trading. The dual CZs are the most mobile guns in the game, although you can also go with the ballistic knife, and that would work just fine as well. If you can't get the dual CZs or ballistic knife early on, that's fine, because you won't need it right away, it's just for the trade strategy. So for the first 20 rounds, you can get away with just holding off with the ray gun in the spawn room near the help room door. And by the way, for this game, you're going to want to keep the help room door closed. You can use the thunder gun and do light trains in this room if you want to save on ray gun ammo, but don't do full horde ups as it's just way too early for that. Now something that's worth pointing out for anyone who has seen footage of this strat before, you can actually step into one of the other zones on this map by running into the corner where the cabinet is, and that will stop the zombies from respawning in front of you when you run up the stairs. However, camping in the corner of the room when the zombies respawn is something you definitely don't want to do when you're camping here, because if you were to, let's say, kill a full horde and run to that corner while you're trying to camp here, all the zombies are going to spawn in the spawn room, which is going to make it harder to do the next horde up. Ideally, what you would want is for the zombies to spawn upstairs and downstairs, because when the respawners are spread out more, it becomes easier to keep control of your position, as you can just circle around the zombies that are coming down the stairs with ease. To ensure this happens, you can stand anywhere in the room as long as it's not in the corner that's near the cabinet and shelf. So when holding off with the ray gun alone isn't practical anymore, you can start running around the room and using the thunder gun and ray gun to get kills. You can start off in this position where I'm at, but not right up next to the wall, and you're going to walk slowly toward where the lantern is on the post. If you see zombies approaching the window closest to you, put up a few boards to buy yourself some time. Now unfortunately that's about all you can do on that side to keep the zombies grouped up, so turn around and go back where you just came from and walk between the 2 posts that are close to the wall. But keep your thunder gun in your hand because the zombies' pathing is somewhat random and they may meet you between the 2 posts. Pull the trigger if you need to, but don't wait until you get cornered and then fire, because if you were to get a T-gun fill, you're probably going to die. So that's going to look something like this. If there's multiple zombies breaking through the barrier that's closest to you, don't try to rebuild it because you can get double slapped. Best thing to do if there are zombies breaking through is just to go to the opposite side of the stairs. However, if no zombies are there, in my case there weren't any, you can just repeat the same strat I just showed you, because you will have a few more zombies running down the stairs at this point. So now that you have the full horde together, you can run around the staircase where the window is and then do a cut back and either use the ray gun or T-gun to kill them. You can rebuild the barrier near the Card 98 if needed, and then position anywhere near the Card 98 for the next horde up. Alright, so if you made it this far, then you're in good shape because you just got past the hardest stages of the game. So moving on to the mid stages of the game between rounds 20 to 40, we can make some adjustments to our horde ups to make things a lot easier. I do have to warn you that this strat is a slow way of playing the map, and if you're comfortable enough with the spawn room strat that I showed you, you can actually keep that up until round 40 and then just move right on up to the high round strat, which I will show you next. But if you find that strat too hard, this would be a safer way of playing before round 40 while the spawns are still too slow for the high round strat, but it's up to you. So this strat starts off at the bottom of the stairs in the box room after killing the previous horde. If there are zombies that come through the barrier on your right, you can put a few rocks up to hold them off for a few seconds. Once about 8 seconds have passed, that's when you want to go up the stairs and wait for the zombies to come out of the window that's to your left. The moment that you see zombies flooding into the room, that's when you want to start heading to the spawn room. You don't necessarily have to sprint there like I'm doing right now, but you do have to be quick about it. Hesitation will get you killed on this map. Do a cutback around the stairs starting from the left side, and while you're at it, do a quick shoulder check at this window behind you to make sure there isn't any zombies sneaking through that window that you may not expect. So by you starting in the box room, I would say about 95% of the zombies will be chasing you from the stairs, which means you don't have to worry not nearly as much about getting cut off by zombies coming through the windows in the spawn room. But with that being said, it's still an early round at this point, so be sure to take quick glances at each window so you can plan ahead of time if something goes wrong. Now that you have the full horde together, go back to the spawn room, and on your way back, put a couple boards up on these two windows. This is just going to give yourself extra time to force the zombies to respawn upstairs and in the box room, rather than in the spawn room without any zombies getting in your way once you run back to the spawn room during your next horde up. So that's basically it in terms of this mid-stage strategy. I did a lot of testing with the strat, and this was the easiest way I could find to always maintain control of each horde at this stage of the game. Now the reason why I haven't showed you the other strat where you start in the spawn room yet is because that won't work on round 26. In order for that strat to work, you have to stay in the corner of the room while the zombies respawn, and since they spawn slowly still at this point, you're very likely to run into zombies in front of the stairs because they peek through the window on the other side of the stairs and you can't see them from the corner where the help door is. But if you leave the corner of the room too early, you're going to get a lot of respawners in front of you upstairs and also in the box room as well. But when you do this strat from box room to spawn, as long as you have a few boards up on the windows I mentioned, it's actually very doable. So if you get an insta-kill while you're killing the zombies over here, first make sure you have at least one monkey bomb, and then you can get it and use a point weapon like the Thompson or even the dual CZs, and just start targeting each zombie that you see until it runs out. Once the insta-kill runs out, wait just a few seconds until you see zombies coming down the stairs, then throw a monkey to distract them, and then run up the stairs and towards spawn and then re-horde them up over there. If you were to get a monkey bomb fail, throw another one if you still have enough time or have any more. Otherwise, the next best thing to do is just to run back towards spawn with the T-gun in your hands, and then do the horde up there. Shoot any zombies that are in your way. Okay, so since you may get just one or two zombies that spawn in the spawn room at times during this stage, I'm going to show you just a few examples of what to do in certain situations. If a zombie comes through this window next to the carbine, or in my case a zombie's blocking that area where the window is, throw a monkey towards the corner where I do, and then just go back to the box room and kill the horde normally. If this happens at a very early round, what I like to do is check the scoreboard to see how many zombies were killed by the monkey, so I will know if I have to prepare for any respawners as well. This right here is just another example clip where I get an unexpected respawner over here, and doing the cutback around the stairs at this point is not possible. So I would just strafe around the zombie, throw a monkey, and then just resume the strat like normal. Moving on to the high round strat, whether or not you decided to do the mid-stage strat or spawn strat until round 40, this is the time to move on to the high round strategy. So I'm starting from when I pick up the thunder gun from the box. I think that makes the most sense, and just like before, you're going to stall for a bit, then go to the spawn room, although having unexpected respawners in the spawn room at this high of a round is highly unlikely as long as you wait enough time. So once you have the full horde together, shoot them with the T-gun, and then run back to this exact spot in the room and just corner yourself by running into the wall. Wait either 8 seconds or until you see zombies running toward you in the distance in the window that's in front of you, and then run up the stairs. If done correctly, no zombies will be in front of you when you make your way back to box room. You can still put up a board here to cover yourself when you come back, and then do a short cutback where the grenades are. Stand in this exact spot when the zombies enter the room, move directly forward hanging to the right side of the post, and then stop where the cabinet is, and then run back hanging on the opposite side of the posts. Now if all the zombies enter this room, you can shoot them here, otherwise just run down the stairs like I'm doing here, and then group them up and then shoot them. And that's all there really is to it. As you can see, it's quite an easy strat on the high rounds. A quick note regarding killing the zombies in the spawn room, shoot them at a good distance away from the corner, because if you were to get a T-gun fail like I did here, there's no need to panic because you won't get double slapped if they are far enough away. Alright, so moving on to the last strat that you need to know for this map, which is trading. So from rounds 59 and onward, the Thunder Gun won't be enough to finish a round on its own, so you will have to trade it pretty often. However, I would not recommend trading it before round 40. If you have to, just trade it at the end of the round. The reason for this is because you have to damage the zombies when trading, and if you were to kill a few zombies, you'll have respawners with no T-gun in hand, which is risky. So I would recommend shooting your last shot in the box room, because if you were to do it at the spawn room and say you had one zombie that survived, the zombie will force you out of the corner where you need to be for the next horde up, and that of course means you get respawners in front of you when you go back up the stairs. You can re-horde up the zombies in the spawn room only if that happens, but just with the zombies spawning all around you in the spawn room, I would not recommend it because you only have the monkeys to save you. I would highly recommend just shooting your last shot in the box room for those reasons. Swap out your T-gun for any wall weapons so that you can do efficient trades and make your way back to the box room. So I'm cutting to the point where I have a long trade so I have a chance to explain everything. But basically what you're going to do is go from end to end on the left side of the room. You should only shoot the zombies when they're at the furthest point away from you so that you can pull out a speed weapon and move quickly if needed. Another thing is if the zombies spread out too much when you're shooting them, you should stop shooting them immediately because you don't want them to meet you on the left side of the pillar. But you don't want to stop shooting them for too long because then they will start respawning on you. Another thing that you'll probably notice is that I let the zombies get fairly close to me before I make my way back to the end, and what I'm actually doing, which may not seem obvious, is splitting the horde at the pillars at each end, because this will also prevent them from spreading out too much, or even worse, the zombies taking a shortcut and running back towards you on the same side that you're running adjacent to the zombie. So that's about it in terms of trading. You can just take your time hitting the box each time you pass it, and if the trade is taking too long, you can also put up boards on the windows, because after enough time has passed, you may eventually get a few respawners anyway, despite shooting them. Nothing is 100% in terms of that, which is unfortunate, but it's still pretty safe and consistent. Putting up boards will give yourself time to plan ahead for when the zombies respawn, if any of them do. Last thing to say is if the zombies do end up going in front of you, if you're on the box side, you can just retreat upstairs and then go back down. Here is an example clip of what to do if that happens. And that's about it. All you have to do is keep hitting the box until you get the Thunder Gun, and then just continue the high round strat as normal. On average, you will get the Thunder Gun back pretty quickly, but because you have to trade so often on this map, that's what makes this map really slow. And that's it for the strategy. This video is pretty short, and that's because there really isn't much to this map. If you're looking to get round 100 on this map, hopefully you already have previous experience in doing high rounds, because round 100 on this map will likely take you 25 plus hours. I will leave links of my full footage in the description of the video so you can take a look for reference. And with that, I wish you all a great rest of your day.